are really, really good. I think this is the first class I've had where there hasn't been one person sabotaging it and ruining it for everyone else. Usually rules are put in place in my classes after someone ruins it. So this term I've been flexible and I've been able to keep that because everybody's really just trying to do their best, and if you're late on something, you turn it in right away. No one's really taking advantage of it. So, I mean, taking advantage of the system. So I'm willing to keep out some more good grace on your end. And you can also tell me back on your end what's going on with you, and I will incorporate it back here. So one of the first things I want to do is, I feel like the ICAs are detracting from actually understanding it. A couple of you said that already. Some of you really like the in-class work, but I think what I'd like to do is just give you open time to just get homework started. So that started right in class with me in there, and then you start thinking about it instead of pushing it towards a later date. So it started in class instead of the in-class assignment. And so we're going to have notes, and they're going to be counted into your portfolio grades. So I have an in-class assignment kind of thingy, but it's going through the notes to make, and it helps me also to understand where someone's getting lost. So it's a two-way thing. So I'm probably not gonna do it today, but I'll do an exit slip next time we meet so that I can just get a feel back from you if this is a better way to go. But this is just from your own work that I'm seeing this. All right, so let's get started. I decided I want to slow down. Like I want to really ramp up and get to the Hilbert spaces. It's just we're just a definition away, but we're not really like it feels like Jedi math. You're just running through the thing without actually thinking about anything. So I just want to take a step back and reflect. And also your homework has a reflection on there too. So I want to actually prove Bolzano Weierstrauss. I don't know if I'm going to get through the proof, but I'm going to actually show you the meat behind the proof. So here's a bounded sequence, and it doesn't converge. So if you take a bounded sequence that converges as your example for Bolzano Weierstrauss, it kind of defeats the purpose. Because all sequences that converge are bounded. There's no other way. You can't have an unbounded sequence not converge. But here's a bounded sequence that doesn't converge. -1 to the n. So like this. There's some examples I always have in my head when I want to develop the counterexample. If you look here, if I take these guys up here, I haven't defined subsequence. But if I just take every other element and form another sequence from every other element, I do get a sequence in there that converges. We call that a subsequence. I'm going to give you a formal definition in a second, but you can visually see what a subsequence is. It's just picking off an infinite number of members out of there, and you get another baby sequence inside the big sequence. And how we label these, because they came from the original sequence members and it was labeled AN, we just put another subscript on there. It's like AN telling you that it comes from the original sequence, and then sub1. AN sub 2, AN sub 3. And so what that tells you is this baby sequence is coming from the original sequence, and it has an order to it too. The order part is important. So from that original sequence, the subsequence where I just have the ones, it's a convergent subsequence. Bolzano Weierstrauss says that every bounded sequence has a convergent subsequence. That's what it says. This one had a pattern. So when I start pushing back at my examples, I try to think out of the box. We do a lot of this in real analysis. And I realize the real analysis proofs actually don't fit into your proof wiki. If you're taking real analysis next semester, they have their own thing. I think there's a lot of preciseness in real analysis. So I took one that doesn't have a pattern. It's bounded. And I really can't see why this would have a convergent subsequence. Bolzano Weierstrauss says it does. A lot of theorems we end up proving uses this theorem as an underlying thing. So it doesn't necessarily have a pattern, but it still, by Bolzano Weierstrauss, has a convergent subsequence. And that's what's amazing about that theorem. When I can't, theorems are not good for things you can obviously see. Theorems are those things that you can't obviously see and they always work. You proved it in general. That's when it's useful to you.